What up? It's your boy Wall Street, back again. And today, I just want to have a nice little powwow about my favorite team, my dearly beloved Washington Wizards. Because despite us being the worst team in the league, I'm very proud of what this team has done this season. And I'm very, very excited for what the future holds. And if you're also a Wizards fan, I would imagine you're also pretty excited. Because for the first time in a long time, the Wizards truly delivered on what they did in the draft, right? It's always kind of been an up in the air thing where I'm like, I don't know how the draft's going to go, right? Like, it's always kind of like hit or miss, I think you guys know, I've said this before, like I wasn't super high on Denny Avdia. I think he's a great player. He's obviously doing very well with Portland, so shout out Denny. But like Rui, I was high on, it didn't pan out. Corey Kispert, I'm a big fan of, but he's definitely more of a role player. He's not necessarily he could be a starter in this league, don't get me wrong, but he's not a superstar talent right now, right? So it's always kind of been hit or miss. Kelly Oubre I like too, but then we trade him, right? But it seems like now we pick these players in, Bub Carrington, Alex Sarr, and Kyshawn George that we're like, these guys are the future. Like, these guys are the future. And I really like that because you don't need to be picking, number one overall every single year in order to build a good team. That's not how it works, right? Like, look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've had lottery picks. Don't get me wrong. Shea, lottery pick. Jalen Williams, lottery pick. Chet, number 2 overall pick. Like, they have a lot of really high draft picks that have turned into great players for their team, right? Don't get me wrong about that. And they have lots of draft picks coming in the future as well. But I think the Wizards are trying to kind of embody that similar image, right? And it makes sense because, Will Dawkins came over from OKC. So, I'm super happy about Alex Sarr. He's averaging 12.7 points per game so far this season, 55 games played. He started every single one of them, 6.7 rebounds, 1.5 blocks per game. And he's a good passer. He's only averaging 2.3 assists, but he has the instincts to make the right pass, and he can bring the ball up the court too. Like, he's so versatile, and I think a lot of people are, hopefully, if they haven't felt proven wrong yet, next season they're going to feel very proven wrong about all of the doubt they gave him about, he went 0 for 15 in the summer league. Oh, he's a bust. Why wouldn't you take Reed Shepherd? Why didn't you take Donovan Clingan? Like, I think he's putting that to rest, honestly. And don't get me wrong, I think Reed Shepherd's going to be great, but he's had not a great rookie season. Donovan Clingan also, I think, is going to be a really good player. He's, in my opinion, right now, he's not better than Alex Sarr. That's just my opinion. And I think Sarr is better than Zachary Risachet too. Like, I genuinely think if the Hawks thought that he wanted to be in Atlanta, Alex Sarr would have been the number 1 overall pick. And so I feel like we got the number 1 overall pick at the number 2 slot. And that's the top draft pick, right? Like, Kyshawn George, in my opinion, might be the best player to come out of that draft class. I don't even say that with hesitation at this point, because the flashes that I've seen from this guy and the energy that he plays with is unmatched. It's unmatched. And he is definitely a guy that if the pressure is on, he delivers, right? I've seen him make big shots so far this season. And I know that probably sounds silly when, the team has 15 wins, but like that's almost more important, is that he still feels like it's a big shot when they're not really playing for much, right? They're just playing to get better. They're playing to upset teams. They're playing to do what they have to do and just figure it out, right? And I think this team is going to be much improved compared to this season when we see them come out next season, right? So I'm just super excited. I think their future is super bright. Obviously, we're going to have another very high draft pick this season. We're going to finish with the worst or the second worst record in the league. We're kind of neck and neck with the Jazz right now. I was kind of upset that we lost to the Jazz the other night because I don't think the team with the worst record ever really wins the first overall pick anymore since they changed the odds. That was back in 2016. I think after the Sixers won the Ben Simmons draft or the Markelle Fultz draft, like they won the draft lottery. They changed the odds from, I think, the number one worst team had a 25% chance to get the number one overall pick, which frankly I think should still kind of be the case, honestly, because like Detroit getting stifled like that, getting the 5th overall pick when they've had the worst record like 2 or 3 years in a row is absurd. It's just absurd. But obviously Detroit figured it out, so good on them. But man, I would be so happy if in 3 months from now, or maybe 4 months, I guess it's 3 months and maybe like a week, that the Wizards have Cooper Flagg. I would be so happy. I would be so happy. Because, like, I've said this before, I would be happy with a top 3 pick, because I think Dylan Harper, I think Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe, I think those guys are all valid NBA players. Like, those guys are going to be good NBA players. But getting Cooper Flagg, I think, would just put a lot of attention on the Wizards. I think he's a guy that can slot in with basically anybody, right? And we do still have Jordan Poole. So I think getting Dylan Harper is going to basically either shift Bub Carrington or Jordan Poole in a certain way, right? And then it's like, okay, well, are you going to trade Jordan Poole? What are you going to do, right? And I like Jordan Poole a lot. I don't really necessarily think they need to trade him. I think if you can trade him to get some, first-round draft picks, by all means, that's probably the right move. But Jordan Poole, I think, is a guy that can grow with this team and can be a leader for this team. I think he's proven this season that he wants to be serious about this. He wants to, take up the challenge of leading a team like this. And I think he's done it for the most part, right? I think this has been a much better season than last season, even though the records are fairly similar. But the Wizards have the brightest future in the NBA, in my opinion. I think it's only up from here. I think Alex Sarr is a star in the making. I think Kyshawn George is a star in the making. And I haven't even mentioned Bub Carrington yet. I think Bub Carrington could also be one of the best players to come out of this draft class. He's probably one of the best well-rounded players we've seen, and he's very good at specific things. Like his mid-range pull-up jumper is just wet. Like dude can sink it. Like and he shoots like moving forward to the basket. Like he's almost like launching himself forward. So it's very like he's a guy that's going to be able to. You're just going to be able to give the ball to him, with 7 or 6 seconds left on the shot clock. He's going to be able to, do a couple dribble moves and get open or not and still make the shot, right? Like, he's a guy that I think has a lot of potential. He's a big guard. He's like 6'5", and he's a good passer, and he plays hard. He gets a lot of rebounds for his position, and it's going to be a really interesting team once these 3 guys of Sarr, Kyshawn George, and Bub Carrington are consistently in the starting lineup, and they're getting a lot of minutes, and they've played together for 2, 3, 4 years. I think it's going to be a problem, right? Like, I think this Wizards team has more potential, down the line, especially with who they add in, this year's draft and potentially next year's draft. They might have more potential than, the old Wizards team with John Wall and Bradley Beal had. And that Wizards team from, call it, let's say like 2015 to 2017, that was a good team. That was a really good team. And I know everyone makes fun of John Wall for saying, LeBron didn't want to see us in the conference finals and whatever. I think the Wizards would have personally given the Cavaliers a better run for their money than, the Celtics did with Isaiah Thomas. So, that's just my opinion, though. And I love Isaiah Thomas, love John Wall. John Wall's like basically one of, if not my favorite basketball player of all time. But this Wizards team is good. It's good. Not right now, but they have a lot of potential, and I'm super excited about this. So let me know what you guys think, man. What do you think about the Wizards? Do you think they're going to be, contending for the playoffs here in the next couple of years? I want to know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about the rookies, Sarr, Kyshawn George, Bub Carrington. What do you think about Jordan Poole? What do you think about the veterans on this team? Bilal Coulibaly, didn't even mention him. He's a great player as well, has a lot of potential, had a much improved season over last year. So let me know what you think, man, and we'll talk in the comments about the DC squad. So take it easy, stay safe, handle business, stand on business. Peace.